Hi, I'm Rachel Barnett with Gentle Frog. In today's video of Custom and QuickBooks training, I want to talk to you about transfers versus expense versus deposit in QuickBooks Online. So I'm starting with the QuickBooks Online sample file that I have set up. The way that I got to the screen you're currently looking at from the dashboard is you can either click on the right hand side and click on bank accounts, or on the left hand side you can click banking and then banking again. This has come up in a couple of client discussions this week, so I thought, you know what, this would be a great topic for a video. What sometimes will happen is a client will say, all right, I'm in here and I'm organizing everything and I know what to do with most of it, but then periodically I hit a speed bump. And this is a fantastic example of a speed bump. I have this received, right? So money came into my B of A credit card from Rewind accounts. I had $30 that came into my B of A credit card. So said differently, I got a $30 refund from Rewind. QuickBooks is suggesting that this is going to be a transfer. And so this is where I want to start talking to you. A transfer means money went from one account in QuickBooks to another account in QuickBooks. And specifically, it's balance sheet accounts. So let me take you to the balance sheet so we can talk about our options there. On the left-hand side, I'm clicking on Reports, and then I'm going to click on Balance Sheet. So here's my balance sheet accounts. I have my make-believe bank accounts. Then I have some expenses, uncategorized asset, undeposited funds. So what QuickBooks is saying is, I think this money transfers between two balance sheet accounts. And QuickBooks is suggesting that the money comes from an account called uncategorized asset. I'm betting that neither of us have a magical place called uncategorized asset that's kicking $30 towards our credit card. So when this happens, I want you to click the drop down and say, well, that doesn't make sense. I paid, or I transferred out of my checking account, I transferred $30 to make my credit card payment, or I got a refund from somebody for $30. But no matter what, I know it didn't come from the land of make-believe. This $30 payment didn't come from uncategorized asset because that doesn't exist. So when you click this drop down, you look at your options, you see those balance sheet options we were just looking at. So the money could come from the checking account, the petty cash, Rachel money, any of these various places. The money could theoretically come from the credit card, could come from inventory, it could come from all this other stuff. When you look at the list, you don't see what you're looking for. And the reason you don't see what you're looking for is because you know that you gave Rewind some money and then you got a refund for a portion of that, right? This happens to all of us. We buy something, we realize that we bought too much or the wrong thing, and we need to return it. And when we return it, we get our money back. And so in QuickBooks, even though it says transfer, even though when you click the drop down you can't find the expense account that you want, I want you to know you can click on Add over to the left. When you click on Add, it changes the right hand side to say Add instead of Transfer. And then when you pick Category, which is another way of saying Chart of Accounts, you can see your drop down list includes much more information than it did before. Specifically, it includes your expenses and your income. So in this case, this $30, we gave Rewind money for software expense, and then they gave us back some money, and we want to apply that refund over to software expense. So Rewind, and because this is a sample file, it's not already in here. And software. Okay, so the takeaway here is even when QuickBooks suggests record transfer, I want you to know that you're smarter than the software. The software is super helpful and it does a bunch of really great stuff, but sometimes you just have to come in here and say, I'm sorry, QuickBooks, that's not right. And then click Add, and then choose the thing you want. A second ago, we told it software, and then it decided checking account. So keep an eye on that. Click Add. Same thing. Raw Short sent money back, and QuickBooks suggests that it's uncategorized asset. Just click Add and pick what it should be in the first place. So what I want you to have for a takeaway here is if the right-hand side says transfer and it doesn't say add, but you think to yourself, that's not right, I want you to fix it. If you don't catch it, like over here when we looked at the balance sheet, if you don't catch it and then later when you're reviewing your balance sheet, you see you have something in uncategorized asset, which apparently I do in my sample file, I want you to see how to fix it. So I'm going to click on this $40. I see nothing here. So what I know I need to do is change my date range. And I'm going to say all dates. And then here I have a transfer, uncategorized asset. So let me go ahead and click on it. So this says that uncategorized asset made a payment to my credit card of $40. One of the tricks you can do is click on the blue hyperlink. It shows you the information that would show up on your bank statement. So if I were to log into my Bank of America credit card, I would see that I got a credit that P. Sharpton sent me money back through PayPal of $40. Here's one of the times where transfer is no good. I entered this as a transfer. I was probably doing something really quick for a video. I wouldn't do this normally. And now I know that this wasn't a transfer, that I had paid someone for some work. And in this case, I just paid him twice by mistake. And so he sent me back the extra $40. And so now I want to say, oh, I need to undo some professional fees. Oh, wait, I can't. And I can't because expenses aren't on this list. The unfortunate thing about this is because it says transfer in the left-hand corner, I can never tell QuickBooks to show me the expenses. It only shows me the things that it can transfer from this account to that account. If this happens to you, the only solution that I found, or the easiest solution I found, is to go to the gray bar at the bottom of your screen and then click on delete. Am I sure? Yes, I'm sure. When I go back to banking and I go to my credit cards, I'm just going to sort this by date. There's my $40. It puts it right back in my to-do list. So this time, instead of clicking transfer, I'm going to click the line, I'm going to click on add, and then I can pick the category that I wanted this to go to. So I just want you to be really cautious about transfer. Transfer is fantastic, it's fine, it works like a champ, except for if you accidentally click transfer when it was just the return of something that you had purchased where you're undoing an expense, or if it's an income. Say, for example, that this $40 was an income, that he had bought something for me for $40. I couldn't have recorded it as service income or awesome thing income. I would still have to come back and delete it and then find the income from this list. Let me see what income options I have. Yeah, so like billable expense income. So I just really want you to know transfer is fine, but if you find yourself in a situation where you see the transfer and it's not right, click on add. If you end up transferring something and then later you discover it's in your books and it's wrong and you're frustrated you can't fix it, you'll have to do like I did. Just delete it, get it back here in the to-do list, put it where it belongs, and then proceed. So if you find yourself in that situation where the transfer does appear, you'll just need to do exactly what I did. Just go to the gray bar at the bottom, click on more, click on delete. The transfer, right, that data will appear in your to-do list, also known as the banking bank feeds. It'll say record transfer, and all you need to do is click on add and then say, no, that's not correct, and then put in whatever is correct. So the takeaway here is that while the software is really smart and does a lot of great things to help us, sometimes you still have to nudge it along and give it some course correction. So no different than the puppy or the children that just needs a little bit of hand-holding from you. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email me, Rachel@GentleFrog, or post a note in the comment section of the YouTube video. If you have any topics that you'd like to see for future videos, please don't hesitate to let me know. It's my pleasure to create mini videos and brief introductions to QuickBooks for you. Thank you so much.